Hi, my name is Melissa Druskis. I'm a board-certified behavior analyst, the owner of ABC Behavior Training, and the creator of the Supervision curriculum. Now let's take a look at what the Supervision curriculum actually looks like in Canvas. This will be an overview of Section 1, but all sections follow a similar format. At the top here, we have some resources that might be helpful for your supervisee. The BCBA Ethics Code, the 4th edition and 5th edition task list, and the task list assessment. Supervisees should complete a task list assessment before starting supervision as a baseline, and then at the end of each section to see their progress. And then we have the units. Each section, as I said, has 7 to 8 units. In between the units is a midsection survey. And then at the end, we have a final survey, competency assessment, and comprehensive evaluation. Let's go back and take a look at the units. So some units may be smaller. This one has a couple of articles to review, an assignment, client assignment, and then a feedback form, which would be completed by the supervisor based on their responses. And then some are a bit longer, which would have materials including videos, articles. There's also a journal review, a case study. There could also be a conference review. And then again, we have a unit feedback form. The unit feedback form is at the end of every unit for you to be able to provide structured feedback to your supervisees. So let's take a look at that unit feedback form real quick. This is the unit feedback form for Unit 4. You would type in your supervisee's name, your name. If there's a journal review, it gives you the option to leave comments about their responses there. Same for the case study. Case studies and unit assignments are graded, so you can show them their points versus the total points and get a percentage. Same thing for the unit assignment, which all the units will have. And then for the client assignment, there's a rubric where you can rate if they completed each of these target things based on whatever the client assignment is. When you click on them, it will automatically add up the points that they've earned. And then additional section for more comments. To determine the supervisee's grade on unit assignments or case studies, you would want to go back over to Canvas and you're going to click on the grade section. There will be another drop down here for you to select from a variety of different supervisees if you have more than one supervisee going through the curriculum. If not, then you may just see one drop down. By default, it sorts it by the due date, but that is not a very logical organization here, so you're going to want to arrange it by module. So here we can see all of the assignments. If a supervisee has not completed an assignment, when you click on it, you're not going to see anything. You only see things for assignments that they've completed. So let's go down to an assignment that has been completed. This is one that I did, so I did not complete the whole thing. But what you'll see is the question, then you'll see the supervisee's answer, and if it's an essay or open-ended question, you're going to see some possible answers down here. So you can choose whether their answer was sufficient to get full points or half a point, however you'd like to grade it. The amount of points available are listed up here. Multiple choice, it's just correct or incorrect, and it will show you the correct answer. And then there's also drop downs, which again will show you the incorrect answers, and then sometimes a comment about why their answer was incorrect. And then it will show you that for all of the answers. To give them their grade and give them their feedback, you're not going to do anything here on Canvas, but that is where you will go to the unit feedback form, type in what their grade is, let them know areas that they need to study, and then some additional comments, which could be strengths or answers to specific questions that maybe they got wrong. It also gives you an opportunity to go over this information in person or via distant supervision with your supervisee. All right, so let's go back to the main view here. So we went over what a unit looks like. Now let's look at the evaluations. So there's a mid-section and a final evaluation. They are the same, just for 2 different time periods that they can do the evaluation. Both of them, the supervisee and the supervisor evaluations, are based on a behaviorally anchored rating system, or BARS. So let's take a look at the supervisor evaluation, which should be completed based on the supervisee's behavior. Once you click on this, it will download a PDF where you can list their strengths, areas that they need to improve upon, and then any general comments. And again, you have a score where you can rate their points versus the total possible points and then get a percentage. And then this is an example of this rating. So I've already clicked on some of these here, but as you click on where they fall in each of these main areas, it will add up the points for you and give you a final score. So each of these, instead of just saying satisfactory, needs improvement, and unsatisfactory and leaving it at that, it does have some behavioral definition of what that rating looks like. And this should be general enough to apply to any supervision settings, whether that's in person or distant supervision. In addition to those 2 evaluations, we also have a competency evaluation, which should be completed by the supervisor. In this section, you'll find the task list assessment, which should be the post-test for the supervisee to complete to rate their competency on each task list. But then the competency evaluation also gives you an opportunity to do that. By clicking on this, it will download an Excel sheet. And it's broken up into section 1, 2, 3, and 4, all of the different sections. And all you do is go through it and you check the boxes that applies to them. So measurement and frequency, have they not contacted it? Have they had some contact with the item? Can they define it? And then can they correctly use it and apply it in the natural environment? Areas that were not yet covered in this section are grayed out. So everything that's not grayed out theoretically should be at a level 1 because they have contacted the information in that unit because that's something that they've went over. As you've gone through all of this, checked all of your boxes, you're going to go to the last tab, which is the Grids tab. On the Grids tab, you'll see a visual representation of their progress through each of the sections. So as you clicked on those X's, it automatically colors in this grid, which is based on each of the task list items and each of the levels. If it's at level 0, nothing will be filled in, level 1, 1 box, and so forth. So at the end of your supervision experience, you should see all of these boxes filled in. And then we'll also give you the score out of the possible score, so all of the task list items that were covered that section multiplied by 3, because 3 is the highest score they can get. And then it also gives you a percentage for each section. So as you go through and you're teaching all of these areas, you may have specific requirements that they must be at 75% on section 1 before moving to section 2, or you can just let them go through at their own pace, however you choose to use it. But this will allow you to see, these are the areas that they were able to complete in section 1, and that's where they were at. Section 2, they filled in a little bit more. Section 3, they continued filling in more of their experience and competency in each of these areas. And then the final thing that we have in each section is a comprehensive evaluation. There is a test 1 and a test 2 to test their knowledge on each of the task list items. The test is multiple choice, 50 question. Some of them are drop down, but it amounts to the same thing. And then by having 2 of these tests, it also allows you some flexibility of how you would like to use this. I personally require that a supervisee scores at least 90% on either test 1 or test 2 before moving on to the next section. So if they take test 1 and they score below 90%, I will give them some feedback, let them know what areas they need to study, and then after studying they have an opportunity to take test 2 and hopefully score at least 90% in this area before moving on. If they don't, then they're going to need some more intensive supervision and training to understand this information before moving on to a more complex section. So let's take a brief look at what a comprehensive evaluation looks like. This is what it's going to look like. Again, 50 multiple choice questions. And then as you answer these, I'm going to just answer some of these wrong so we can see what that looks like. All right, and then if I scroll all the way down and submit this, when the quiz is submitted, they'll be able to see the correct answers, and then for all of them, whether they got it correct or incorrect, instead of giving specific information on why this specific question had this answer correct, it's letting them know the task list item that it was testing and then the unit that that information can be found in. So when they get something wrong, instead of an explanation as to why 20 is not the correct answer, it lets them know to go back and study task list A-02 for measuring rate, and that they should review unit 2 because that's where the correct information for how to answer questions like these can be found. The comprehensive evaluation test 1 and test 2 are different, although they both do have about 1 question for every task list item covered. There's not 50 task list items that are covered, so some of them have more than 1 question related to it. And that covers all of the information and resources that you can get through the supervision curriculum. Again, they are broken up into 4 different sections, so you can try out a section, see if it's working for you before moving on to the next section. And then the access to the curriculum is by supervisee, so each supervisee will have their own individual access, and then of course the supervisor gets access along with that so they can review the information and download the materials as well. If you have any questions about the curriculum, please do not hesitate to contact me. My information is in the comments below, but you can also go to my website, www.abcbehaviortx.com, and for information on the supervision curriculum, you can just click on the supervision curriculum tab. Thank you, and I look forward to having us train highly experienced and qualified BCBAs and BCABAs in the future. Thank you.